Hi, I'm Dr. David Purvis. Do you struggle with health anxiety, which really is a preoccupation with your health? Do you find that you often want to call the doctor or visit the doctor for reassurance, and that it becomes your health or health concerns are really preoccupying your mind? Well, if you do, if you find that that's your experience, it's technically called hypochondriasis, and it's called health anxiety actually. And so I've just got this little model on the board which I'm going to show you, which kind of nicely describes what's happening with health anxiety. And I just worked this out with a client today, and I just thought I'd share it with you. And it's really simple. So the client that I worked with on this was absolutely lovely. So there you go, that's your shout out. Look, there's something wrong with me, okay? That's the preoccupation that you have. And the truth is, because I don't know how many times you've been to the doctors, there's nothing wrong with you. I am fine, I am okay. But this belief system that there's something wrong with you versus the actuality that there's nothing wrong with you creates a conflict. Now, an internal conflict is a bit like rubbing your hands together. Now, I can't rub my hands together because I'm holding a camera. It's a bit like rubbing your hands together. If you rub your hands together fast, if you try it, rub your hands together fast, rub your hands together, what happens? Well, you're creating friction, and that friction creates energy. That friction creates energy, and that energy is experienced as psychological distress. And that psychological distress is the thing that drives you to see a doctor, because the only way you have of relieving that distress is the placebo effect, or the reassurance that you get from your doctor. Now, the problem with that is that A, it takes up a lot of doctors' time, but B, you're never really learning that you're okay. You're relying on the kind of rush to the doctor to convince you that you're okay. So you're not actually taking control of this distress that we see here. You're not taking control of that. You're allowing the distress, or you're discharging the distress by doing a distraction activity, which is really going to the doctor. My suggestion is that if you want to relieve the distress, you have to do something yourself. And I've suggested that you use something called emotional freedom technique. Now, that's a great way of dropping the anxiety, of dropping the energy of distress down really low. And with a little bit of practice, you can become really adept at managing that sense of distress that would normally drive you to the doctor. If you want to find out about my version of emotional freedom technique with the videos and the instructions, then if you're already in the online Dr. Purvis online courses, go to the Stop Overthinking 7-Day Challenge, and you'll find the video and everything that you need to use in the first episode. And if you're not on the courses, then why not join the courses and get to the Stop Overthinking 7-Day Challenge and start using the emotional freedom tool, which will help you to cut this distress. Now, once you start managing your distress level, which is actually managing your energy level, which is basically managing the conflict that creates the friction, when you manage this, this problem becomes manageable to the extent that you stop having to go to the doctor, which means that you're starting to get onto a path of actually being in control of how you feel, as opposed to relying on external circumstances, which is like horrible, right? If you've got to go to the doctor every 2 weeks, that's horrible. Okay, so the emotional freedom technique is a nice way of taking control of internal psychological energy that's created through friction, experienced as distress, and you'll find the video and the instructions on the Stop Overthinking 7-Day Challenge. So if you want to get into that, and if this is a problem that you struggle with, I hope to see you on the inside of the Dr. Purvis online programs, and there is no cost. The cost is so low, it's ludicrous. 50p a week for the first 2 weeks, and that will give you lots of opportunity just to deal with this if you didn't want to continue. So, thanks for taking the time to watch and listen, and I hope that you can get on top of health anxiety with this little tool and this little technique.